Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the second day of this month of December, the festive month, 2024. My name is still Kevin Oduor. Let me first take this opportunity to say thank you very much for supporting our November project. So, for better part of last week, I was not in Nairobi. I spent time in Watamu. I actually arrived yesterday on Sunday morning. Yeah, after a week-long stay in Watamu, overseeing the project. So far, the Edison and Harrison house is in progress. We've done the house, we've done the walling, we've done the roofing, the roof and dirisha na the doors. What is happening this week is the plaster work, which nataka ishe. Immediately they finish the plaster work by the end of this week. I will be back in Watamu on Monday next week so that we can officially hand over the house to Edison and Harrison. After measure, by then I think I will also have gone with the wheelchairs which were under modification. So Monday next week, we will officially hand over the house to Edison and Harrison. Na nasema asanteni sana. Thank you very much for supporting this project. That was our November project, and may God bless you abundantly. Let me do this analysis on the Raila Odinga's political rally in Vihiga, Chavakali Boys Stadium. Before we get much into those details, I want to humbly request you to subscribe to our channel. We were running a mission. We just took a 1 week break so that we could do the project, but now we are back into it. We are running a scheme to reach 100 subscribers by the end of December. We are now at 94,400. So we remain with 5,600 subscribers to cross over to 100,000. The target ni kufika by December. Kindly, we can only achieve that by you subscribing. Subscription is absolutely free. It doesn't cost anything. And again, when you subscribe, in fact, the advantage is that you will be able to get notification when we click when we publish any video. This political rally is a continuation of ODM campaign scheme currently going on and disguised as a Thanksgiving ceremony. What happened in Chavakali is a continuation of the Rangwe rally where Gladys Wanga was actually holding a Thanksgiving rally after she was officially picked as the ODM chairperson. So that event in Vihiga was also a Thanksgiving rally in honor of Geoffrey Osotsi, who was picked as the deputy party leader position after Oparanya was taken to cabinet. And from Vihiga, they started with the Homa Bay. From Vihiga, they'll head straight to I think to Arati, if they've not done that. After Arati, then it will be the coast. And I can tell you that those rallies will continue. The person behind them is none other than Kenya's AUC candidate, Raila Odinga, a man who had initially announced that he was retiring from active politics. So in this podcast, I want us to look at that event. I want us to critically analyze that event, and we'll explain to you why Raila is still dogged in the domestic politics in the interest of none other than President of the Republic of Kenya. Let us make these observations. I noticed the attendance of KK leadership. The Kenya Kwanza leadership were in Vihiga. I saw Lusaka, the Bungoma governor, who was elected on Ford Kenya, if I'm not wrong. I saw Karen Nyamu, UDA nominated senator from Nairobi. I saw Didmas Baraza, Kimilili member of parliament, elected on UDA, who is vying on a Ford Kenya ticket for Bungoma governor seat. I also saw other leaders from and a host of other leaders from the UDA MPs from the Western Wing. I know that someone will say, and someone will explain to me, there is an explanation that those who attended, they were in support of Osotsi because Osotsi is a Luhya. Yes, because Osotsi is a Luhya and Osotsi is one of them. So under Western Parliamentary Caucus, they're trying now to support one of their own. But in politics, you need to understand one thing, that for such decision, for such to happen, there must be a behind the scene going on. Even though even in Narok, I saw, in Kajiado, I saw some ODM leaders from Narok accompanying the president. Now, that what does that show you? It shows you on that bread-based arrangement. Now, there are two speeches that I want us to analyze. The first speech is by the court boss Francis Atwoli. So Francis Atwoli spoke about two things, and I want you to hear them here.
Nikahakikishia baba, mimi nitakuwa hapa. Sisi na baba juzi tulikuwa huko West Africa, tukisaidishana pamoja apate kura ya Afrika. Na yeye atapata kiti, msiwe na wasiwasi. Baba amefanya kazi ya kutosha, na wote viongozi wa Afrika ni marafiki zake. Kwa hivyo baba, na pia baba alisema akienda hata wasahau. Kwa hivyo sisi tunashukuru nyinyi wana ODM kwa umoja wenu, umoja wa nchi na umoja wa kumsikiza baba. Juzi wale walinisikiza, nilisema Raila has suicidal supporters. Wanaomuunga mkono ni watu ambao wako prepared kufa, na yeye ndio kiongozi na sisi tunamheshimu. Kwa hiyo juzi amesaidia William Samoei Ruto, na Ruto amekubali kwa kutengeneza broad based government, na sisi tunamshukuru kwa hapo. Na nataka kumhakikishia Mheshimiwa Raila, hili jimbo la Western wewe huwa unalicontrol 90%. Na mimi nataka kukuambia kwamba sisi zote kama jamii ya Mulembe tuko pamoja. Tuko pamoja. Na mtu hata tukawa na atakayejaribu, sisi wazee tuko na watoto wetu kwa serikali, tuko na bwana Osotsi. Wakati ukifika tutamuonyesha njia. Wengine wote ni punda, wengine wote ni shanzi.
The two things he's talking about Raila Odinga's AUC. The crowd is just staring at Atwoli like that thing is not clicking to their mind. That thing is not clicking to their mind. And from that, and I think in the debrief, that is what Atwoli was supposed to say. Number two, Atwoli spoke about some Luhya unity, some Mulembe unity. And that can tell you that it is part of the wider plan. Why you see leaders are being marshaled. Even UDA are donating. The UDA is donating its membership to ODM in Western so that they can bolster the ODM party there. You also need to look at the caps. You need to look at the way watu ambao walikuwa pale walikuwa wamevalishwa zile kofia za ODM. You can see a very strong funding of these rallies. So these rallies, much as they are guised as, they're packaged as Thanksgiving ceremonies, they're actually part of the political activity around bolstering William Ruto's 2027 presidential bid. And ODM is actually playing that script. There is an confirmed report that the majority, if people of Vihiga were to turn out and attend that rally, you couldn't even get a quarter of that crowd. I may be wrong, someone can correct me. So there's some unconfirmed report that crowds were ferried from Kisumu, from Kakamega, and this other side of Siaya Luanda. I cannot dispute those reports because that is a normal activity. Politicians do it, especially when they want to show the numbers. I can tell you that one of the objectives of that rally was to show the political might, to show the fact that there is, we have the people. And I can show you that, I can tell you without yet of doubt that that rally, amount of money that has gone into it, it cannot be just at ODM. That's because of ADM and ODM. And remember, that is Musalia Mudavadi's constituency. Now, if you are keen, you'll realize that ANC was not fully present there. But Ford Kenya and UDA was there. But the ANC team, they were not, you could not see Mboko Milemba. And that is his constituency. Now, I don't know what to make of this. But for the first time, Raila Odinga is mocking Rigathi Gachagua after he was unceremoniously, unethically, and illegally thrown out of office.
Muliona juzi mtu mwingine anabweka kule. Anabweka tio, timeweka mitego. Nimeweka mitego kila mahali. Hawezi kupenya. Hawezi kuingia mahali yote. Simuona hiyo jamaa? Simuona? Mtego aina gani? Tendawili. 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 Mtego wa panya kuingia waliomo na wasiokuwemo. Hello? Hello? Mtego wa panya kuingia waliomo na maana yake ni nini? Maana yake ni nini? 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 Hii mtego iliwekwa kwa panya, lakini kwanza mwenye mtego aliwawa. Kuku, mbuzi, ng'ombe, hiyo mtego ya Gachagua. Aliweka mtego kule kwa State House. Anawekea baba mtego. Ati hakuna mambo ya handshake. Hakuna mambo ya mzumukati. Ako wapi sasa Gachagua? Ako wapi?
Before I bring in my point on this, I'd want to ask you as a subscriber, what do you make of this? Is it the right thing? I want you to take a moment and go to your comment section. Is it the right thing? I don't know what to think. But I want to say this for my own, I want to explain this. I want to review this scheme by Raila Odinga. Before I do that, I want to explain to us that we have a partnership with Top Mark Movers as the Bold Podcast. Top Mark Movers, if you're looking for the professional, ethical, and affordable company, logistics company that can help you move your office items or household items from one place to the other, then you don't need to look elsewhere. You can look at the contacts there, 0719 17 43 93 there. When you contact them, you can be able to negotiate, and I can promise you that your treasures are safe in the hands of Top Mark Movers. So Top Mark Movers are the best in town. Guys, throughout Rigathi Gachagua impeachment, if you are listening to this podcast, by that time you are a subscriber, you can agree with me that I keep on saying that that was a miscalculation. That Raila Odinga needed to keep off that discussion between Rigathi and the president. So I believe it is a miscalculation by the ODM leader to try to celebrate that unceremonial and that unethical and a very flimsy charges leveled against Rigathi for him to be impeached. And at this critical time, I agree with the fact that the Mstego statements from Rigathi Gachagua, they did not sit well with the ODM Supremo. And of course, it was not in the interest of inclusivity. That if Raila is locked out of State House and this and that, and so this is something that probably, I want to agree with that ODM is right to feel the way they feel, that Rigathi mocked them. But again, at this time, it would make sense, it would make a lot of sense if you're mocking Rigathi that Rigathi aleka mtego, na iyo mtego may overcome when Rigathi is still in government. I think it makes sense. But now, if it is Rigathi who is now out, probably it doesn't hold. Why do I feel that Raila's position to attack Rigathi is a wrong move? Why? I feel because Raila attack on Rigathi is opening wounds that had started to heal. And I kept on saying that it is true and it is undisputed fact that whereas the President of the Republic of Kenya would have numbers to attempt to impeach the DP, but it had to take the big hand of ODM to sanitize William Ruto's illegality and William Ruto's state machinery to impeach Rigathi. Impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua squarely was aided by the ODM wing. It was squarely. And throughout that session, I analyzed Rigathi impeachment. I understand. I saw what happened. The most vocal people that spoke in parliament were the ODM wing. And the moment ODM rose against Rigathi, they were striving to make the country believe that those flimsy charges against Rigathi were actually the right things. So that was a calculation because we are opening wounds, and I think as an elder, we should not have taken that position. Number two, I believe that Raila knows, and Raila team knew very well who Rigathi is. And they were expecting Rigathi to respond, and this will take a nasty tribal angle, and this will elicit emotions. As people who've been saying that the broad-based siblings have been saying, they're looking into the unity. At this time, this will not be it because it's taking a nasty tribal attack. Sometimes I've seen this narrative, and I don't know. I saw an MP. I think an MP speaking in one of the television stations saying that Rigathi abebesha mzigo zake. Rigathi is a person. Rigathi is not a tribe. If that is it, then I can tell you that Raila Odinga will not be in politics now. The people, the Luo Nyanza, it was a Luo Nyanza MP, and I was watching that and I was like, wow, this guy thinks Kenyans are fools. And a Luo Nyanza MP is saying that Rigathi is not Mount Kenya. While Raila Odinga have stayed in politics since 2000, I don't know when, to now, carrying himself the ODM community, the Luo community. And the MPs will go to the villages and tell the voters kwamba sisi mtupigie kura kama rais, kama MP, so that twende tutetee baba. And when baba doesn't get it, they go back and say, we lose, we have been persecuted, we lose. They've been carrying the community for all long. Now, Rigathi has been impeached. Rigathi is trying to carry the community along with him, and they're telling Rigathi that, those are your personal problems. Look at that political hypocrisy. So I look at that. I look at that argument. I really smile. I say, wow, do these people think Kenyans are so rudderless about their game? Now, the other reason is this. Rigathi out of government and that impeachment, if you compound it with other Gema members that are out of government, there is a narrative that Rigathi carries, and that narrative is strong, that the Gema is being persecuted. So when Raila goes against, attacks Rigathi, I tend to see that as a miscalculation, because those who feel that Ruto is persecuting them can easily blame Raila for it. Even though I know even if they blame Raila, nothing changes, because Raila is not going to be on ballot. But it's not a very healthy thing, because even for the president, Ruto doesn't work against. I can tell you that there are people, some gullible voters from Mount Kenya had always been told for centuries that they need to rise in the morning to vote against Raila. Now that will still be there, even if Raila is with Ruto. Now, I saw ODM announcing a presidential bid, then that is to keep supporters afloat. They don't have something to tell the supporters, so they have to tell them that ODM will form government in 2027. That song has been sung, I don't know for how many years, and it's normally it's the statement to keep the hope alive, so that they can hang around Raila Odinga, and it was said in Western, so that they can hang around Raila Odinga. At the time, I looked at that rally and I asked myself a question. Why is Kenya wasting our money on a man still holding on domestic affairs? Why are we wasting taxpayers? And the truth is, I saw Raila Odinga's tour in West Africa, and I saw the Somalia candidate dropping, Mauritius candidate dropping in favor of Raila, and I said, oh, yes, the continent is thinking about Raila. Yes, and we said here, we raised point here on, the president needed to give Raila money to go and campaign because he's a Kenyan candidate, and some people think we don't support Raila, but we made the noise and Raila got money to go to West Africa, by the way. It is the Kenyan media that made that noise. We made that noise, that kama uli promise baba pesa ya kwenda campaign na private jet, mpe aende. He was there with Atwoli. Atwoli was telling us, he was there with Atwoli. So maybe Pia, they need to clap for us. So, I'm understanding. This man is not interested in that seat. He's not. This man wants to be here. And this is what he enjoys most. Why are we wasting our money? But I want to explain to you that these 5 compelling reasons to believe that William Ruto himself, by design, is looking for how Raila Odinga can remain in the political arena. He really needs Raila for 2027. And he doesn't need a Raila who has won AUC. I can tell you that there is that position, there is that statement that Raila kipata AUC, then Ruto has gotten the Nyanza vote. Forget about it. That if Raila is in AUC huko, na haezi fanya political affairs hapa, but hey, Raila mwenye najua atatafanya. Haezi fanya political affairs, he will not be useful to William Ruto. And William Ruto is struggling by all means to confine him within this area. If you look at those rallies are being sponsored by the state. I will not get afraid of saying. Why? Ruto wants Raila to galvanize the western region under the ODM. And he wants that since Mudavadi and Wetangula do not have a take home after the earthquake. Let me tell you, if you look at the broad-based siblings arrangement, it is undeniable fact that Raila brought Mbadi to cabinet, Raila took Joho to cabinet, Raila took Oparanya to cabinet, Raila took Wandai to cabinet, Raila took Askul to cabinet. So Raila took 5 people to cabinet. Compare that with what Musalia Mudavadi and Western Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula have brought. You cannot attribute who have they brought to government in terms of cabinet appointments. So, and that is part of the scheme by the President Ruto. He knows very well that when he goes through Raila, he will actually evade the 30% question that Wetangula and Mudavadi allies have been asking for. And he wants to do that. And that is why you can see that Nani anaambiwa enda, even Atuli was brought in the fold. That is one of the things he's realized, and it's part of evading the accountability question. The second issue is this. Ruto is facing onslaught in Mount Kenya and other areas in this country because of the state machinery, or rather on the state machinery against the human rights violations. Now, Raila Odinga has been a strong defender of human rights, and Raila's supporters have died, have been killed by subsequent regimes. Even during Uhuru era, there was a Matiang'i CS, and Matiang'i was interior CS. Raila's supporters died in 2017, quite a number. Raila's supporters died in 2023, quite a number. Now that has happened now. I think the president wants that by the time he's into 2027, Raila sanitizes his hands on those abductions and killings. The other issue, and that is very sad, the other issue is, I think Ruto is looking for Raila to engineer the coalition, to be the mother of that coalition, to form that coalition, and that's why he wants Raila within these zones. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my take, and I believe that we should not waste our money in the taxpayers' money. We should pay the nurses that are going on strike. Kama yeye anataka kuwa hapa, maybe that is it.